We've made our game more stable, we've added a better user interface, and we've even improved the way it looks. But it's now time to use mods to let us do stuff and do it better.
That jingle, jangle, jingle, jingle, jangle. As I go.
When it comes to mods for Fallout New Vegas that change gameplay, the first mod that comes to mind is Project Nevada. This is a massive overhaul mod that brings a lot of features that you might actually expect in a modern FPS game. Features such as sprinting, bullet time instead of the VAT system, dynamic crosshairs, variable zoom for your weapons, and even things like the grenade hotkey. It gives you the option to use explosives to break through doors, it adds things like night vision or even thermal vision, and if you want it will add a whole barrage and armory of new weapons and armor. This one mod alone can completely change the way the game feels. It makes it a lot more exciting to play, and you'll probably find most Fallout New Vegas veterans have done at least one and maybe many playthroughs using this mod. It's one of the most popular, well-respected mods for New Vegas. It's solid, it's polished, and generally it's one of these mods that's very easy to recommend. However, Project Nevada is not the only option available to you to change gameplay. There are actually a lot of smaller mods that will bring similar features, and you could customize your gameplay experience by choosing which of these mods to use rather than one single overhaul mod. And whilst this obviously would require a little more work than just installing one mod, there are some good reasons to consider this as an option. One consideration is the size of Project Nevada. It is a massive mod that adds many things, and this means it's a bit of a commitment. This is the sort of mod that you absolutely should not remove midway through a playthrough. If you remove this mod and then carry on a save that did use that mod, you may get problems. Generally speaking, midway through a playthrough, you will get told, try not to remove mods, it's a bad idea. Now, how bad an idea can depend on the mod. There are some mods that are so small and so lightweight that it will have no effect on your save. There are some mods that may even be massive, but will still have no effect on your save. An example of that would be NMC's texture pack that I covered in the last video. Project Nevada is not such a mod. Once you've installed Project Nevada, especially if you use something like the cybernetic module or the weapons module, you probably need to leave that mod installed until you're starting a new game. Another consideration is the age of the mod. The modding community's understanding of the New Vegas engine has only improved with time. They've gained a better understanding of how things are best done. They've gained access to new tools, new techniques, new plugins that really let them push the boundaries at the same time as improving stability and efficiency. These newer mods might also have more active mod authors who can listen to your feedback and perhaps respond to it. But the flip side of that coin is the fact that Project Nevada has stood the test of time. It's been one of the core mods in millions of playthroughs, so you know what you're getting. You're getting a good quality, highly polished, well-tested mod. So which option am I going to recommend? Well, it kind of depends on you, but to be honest, if you are a beginner to modding, if you have played Fallout New Vegas before and you're looking for a modded experience that lets you play the same content but with all of the advantages of mods, with new weapons, new gameplay, perhaps some new visuals, Project Nevada is almost certainly the way to go. It's a superb mod and it will make the game feel a lot newer, a lot more exciting, and yet still retain its familiar feel, and it can do all that with a single mod. However, if you're the sort of person who always wants to try the latest and the greatest, you might want to try some other mods. But the good news is, a lot of the features in Project Nevada can actually be turned off in the MCM, allowing you to use other mods to take over that particular functionality. So let's get started and install Project Nevada. The first thing we're going to need is the main file. So go along to the Project Nevada page on Nexus Mods and go down and check the requirements out. You are going to need a mod manager. Now it lists Fallout Mod Manager as a requirement. This is an old mod manager that was used back in the day. You don't actually need a mod manager to run this game, but you do need a mod manager to install it. However, it doesn't actually require this mod manager. Any mod manager that can handle scripted installers will do, and that is most of them. Vortex certainly can handle it. And it also requires NVSE, which you should have installed by now. So I'm going to go along to the file section and I'm going to hit Mod Manager Download and download it to Vortex. And if you're playing Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition or the Standard Edition with all of the DLC, you are going to need a compatibility patch for Project Nevada and that DLC. Compatibility patches are essentially patches that, unsurprisingly, make two things compatible with each other. Usually it's two mods, but sometimes it could be a mod and DLC. And there are a variety of reasons for using them. Sometimes you will need a compatibility patch to apply the changes from one mod to another because otherwise it would be inconsistent. But you may also be using compatibility patches because otherwise two mods would actively fight each other and you would have problems. There are many reasons we have compatibility patches. In this case, it's the former reason. Project Nevada adds several things, and with the patch, it will add them to the DLC, which will keep the overall game consistent. For example, it will allow Project Nevada to provide visor overlays for helmets found in the DLC, or grenade hotkey icons for explosives that are specific to the DLC, and so on. Theoretically, you could play without this patch and it would not break your game, but it would be a little inconsistent. However, there are some compatibility patches that are more or less essential depending on the mods you're using. If a mod adds something that directly conflicts with another mod, you are almost certainly going to need a compatibility patch to fix that problem. This is why it's a good idea when downloading mods to go below just the main file and actually look to see if there are any compatibility patches listed, check the description, read the entire page and see what patches may be suggested. Now in the case of Project Nevada, it does have its own page just for the patches, so that's where we're going to get them. Go along to that page, go to the file section, and there are 4 files listed. 3 of them are patches for 3 different mods that currently we do not have installed. So what we need is the Project Nevada DLC support. Just click Mod Manager Download. Once the files have downloaded, we're going to install Project Nevada first. Hit Install, give it a few seconds, and then a pop-up menu will appear with some options. It's got options for the core module, you have to have that, cyberware module, equipment module, and rebalance. Now, we need the core, but perhaps I'm going to do a playthrough where I don't really care for the cyberware, which is sort of, cybernetic implants, so I'm going to click there to switch it off. I quite like the idea of more guns and equipment, so I'm going to keep the equipment module, and then we come to the rebalance module. This allows you to tweak a lot of in-game settings, things like the amount of damage you take, the amount of health you have, how hard it is to sneak, and even things like the amount of perks you get per level. The base game gives you 1 perk every 2 levels. A lot of people like to get 1 perk every level. You can actually change that with this module. You can see a lot of the details on the installer, and of course you should read the front page and actually decide which of these modules you need. Don't install something if you don't think you're going to use it in this playthrough. There is a limit to the number of mods with ESPs you can have. You won't reach that limit anytime soon, but there may come a day. It's good practice to only install something if you really want it. I then click install and I will get a little warning telling me that the MCM files that I'm currently using are already newer than the ones included with Project Nevada, and it says, do you want to keep the newer ones? And the answer is yes, I do want to keep the newer ones, although in this particular case it actually doesn't matter too much, but I'm going to click yes. I then click enable. And there are multiple plugins, so I'm going to need to enable all of them. And of course, we immediately get conflicts. Go down to Project Nevada and click on the red lightning icon, and you can see it is conflicting with 5 mods in my case. If you are like me and you're using one HUD and you check the suggestions Vortex gives you and it tells you to load Project Nevada after one HUD, you should ignore that suggestion. That is wrong. And if you in fact do load after, you will have to load all of these mods after, except for the conflict with the weapon mesh improvement mod, which it suggests before. If you saved this and deployed, it would not break your game, but the grenade hotkey icon that comes with Project Nevada would be visible even when one HUD attempted to turn the heads-up display off. So if you're using one HUD and Vortex is still suggesting you load after, ignore that suggestion and load before. Save, then deploy. Once it's finished deploying, check in game just to make sure nothing is broken. As soon as I load a game, I get a message popping up saying the grenade hotkey has been enabled, which is a good sign. And if I press the I key on one HUD, the heads-up display now has a grenade hotkey icon, although it's showing a spear because that's all I've got. If I press escape and go to the mod configuration, I also now have PN core and PN rebalance, which is the Project Nevada MCM. The mod looks like it's installed okay. I'm not going to test it any further because I want to install the DLC compatibility patch. So I just click install and then enable all, and believe it or not, we're done. So back into game to give it a bit more of a thorough check. And once in game, again, I get the grenade hotkey message, which is a good sign. I'm going to close that and open up the MCM. I think to check everything is working, I'm going to test out the bullet time, sprint, and maybe grenade hotkey features. And I'm going to change the hotkeys for them under settings. For bullet time, I'm going to use left shift. For grenade throw, I'm going to use another key, and so on and so forth. For sprint, I'm even going to use a button on my mouse because you can do that with this mod. Let's go and see if I can sprint. Yes, there we go, sprinting. And bullet time. There's the bullet time. And finally, of course, grenade hotkey. I believe I've got spears at the moment. And there you go. There was the hotkey. Spear thrown, weapon back out. The icon is currently missing for the grenade hotkey. Let's go and check that by going to Immersive HUD, Other Mods. This is part of one HUD. Project Nevada General. Right, I want this to activate and show when the weapon is out. There we go. Now you can see the spear icon. If I put my weapon away, the condition ammo disappear. I've got those set to disappear quite quickly. And there's the grenade hotkey icon disappearing. And everything seems to be working just fine. And that's it. You now have Project Nevada installed, and for many of you, you could probably stop watching the video now, go off and play Fallout New Vegas and have a great old time. But it might be worth hanging around and just finding out what the alternatives are, even if you don't intend to actually use them. Let's start with another mod that adds sprinting to the game, and that mod is just vanilla sprint. This is a very lightweight sprint mod that actually comes with its own custom first and third person animations and does feel a little different to the Project Nevada sprinting. Like Project Nevada, it does have some customization options like how much action point drain there is, or even the speed at which you sprint in first person. It's also very easy to install. Just go along to the mod page, read the front page. It really is not that difficult this time because it's very short. Check the requirements. You need GIP LN NVSE plugin, and by extension you will need NVSE. You almost certainly have those two mods installed if you've been following this series so far. Go to the file section, hit Mod Manager Download to download the mod to Vortex or your mod manager of choice. Install the mod, enable the mod, and with this mod there should be no conflict, so you can go straight in game and check it out. Once in game, go along to the mod configuration menu and you should see just mods as an option on the left hand side. Click there and you can see you've got Sprint installed and it's currently enabled. If you click on Sprint, it will give you the settings that you can customize, and this includes the speed, the action point drain, whether or not you can jump while sprinting, etc. You also get to set the key, so I'm going to change mine to the button on my mouse and test it out. There you have it. Sprinting, just check the third person as well. And it really is that simple. One thing of note here is a lot of mods keep the settings that you have set in the save game itself. And this means if you start a new game or load a different save game, your settings will not be applied. However, some mods allow you to apply it across the board. This is such a mod. If you want to do that, the easiest way to do it is to click away from just mods, click back until you get to the main menu, and then just enable automatic INI management. If you do that, any settings you have changed will be applied even if you start a new game. This is great if you want to set up all of the settings, get everything exactly as you want, and then start a new game with all of those settings intact. For bullet time, I have gone with the Just Bullet Time mod. There are a few other options, but I've gone for this one for two reasons. One, it does exactly what I need it to do, and two, it's an example of a mod that has a very active mod author. In fact, he has already responded and added some things to the mod based upon feedback he's received from yours truly here. So this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. You've got a mod where it's being updated and improved currently, right now. As with the previous mod, it's very easy to install. Just go along to the mod page, read the description, check the requirements, make sure you've met them, go to the file section, click Mod Manager Download, and download it to the mod manager of your choice. Install once it's downloaded, enable once installed, and then you're done. Go and check it out in game. Once in game, go to the mod configuration menu, go to just mods and the bullet time option, and set the key you want to use, and then just check to see if it's working. There you are, working as intended. You can tweak quite a few options, including the visual effect you're going to get and the sounds. Perhaps you prefer the sort of Project Nevada-like sounds, and a desaturated look during your bullet time. You can have that if you want. And as you can see, quite a few other options that you can play around with and figure out yourself. One thing you might want to do if you're going to use this mod is change the kill cam mode from player view to either none or cinematic. And the reason for that is the player view kill cam mode does feel very similar to bullet time. So sometimes you're not totally sure if you're still in bullet time or you've got a kill cam going. See, I've turned off the bullet time now, or at least I've tried, and nothing happened. Now it's happened. And it's just because bullet time and the kill cam feel very similar. With the kill cam mode set to cinematic, you can immediately see you've gone into kill cam, so there's a little less confusion. And obviously if you turn it off, there's no such problem anyway. You just kill people and move on with your life. Which, yeah. Anyway, that's it. That is basically the Just Bullet Time mod. There is also a Just Dynamic Crosshair mod, which you'll never guess what it does, but it adds a dynamic crosshair, nothing else. Installing it is just as easy as the previous two. Read the description, check the requirements. This one does require the UIO. Again, you should have that installed. Go along to the file section, mod manager download, install, enable, and once again check it out in game. And there it is, the dynamic crosshair for pistol and shotgun. It looks a little different to Project Nevada, but it behaves more or less the same. It's very customizable. Go to Just Mods and Crosshair and you can change a host of things. I will leave that up to you. The only thing I would mention is OneHUD has no control over this dynamic crosshair the way it does with Project Nevada, but to be honest, I don't think that's a big deal, because when it comes down to it, if you want a dynamic crosshair, you're probably always going to want it when you pull your weapon out anyway. As soon as you put your weapon away, the dynamic crosshair disappears, and then OneHUD takes over and hides the normal crosshair. But that's it, basically. That's how simple it is to install that mod. And don't worry if you are a grenade thrower who is looking for an alternative to Project Nevada, because I've got you covered with B42 Quickthrow. Like Project Nevada, it will let you throw grenades, mines, spears, throw-in daggers, all that sort of throwing weapon goodness, but it does do it in a little bit of a different manner. For a start, where Project Nevada tends to put your main weapon away and then take the grenade out in the right hand, this mod actually just pulls the weapon out with the left hand. The motion is a little quicker and a little smoother, so if you like that kind of speed, you're going to enjoy this mod. There's also a cool mechanic with this where the longer you hold the throw button, the further you throw the grenade, so you can choose to throw the grenade quite close to your feet if you want. Just be careful. And it even has a nice heads-up display icon like Project Nevada, except this one is full color. Installing the mod is pretty simple. Just go along to the mod page. Again, read everything please and check the requirements. Then go to the files and you're going to need the main file, mod manager download. But if you're using OneHUD, you will also want the compatibility patch as well, so download that at the same time. Once downloaded, install the main file first. Enable it, and then once that's complete, you'll also want to install and enable the OneHUD patch as well. This will throw a conflict with the main file. Open up either of them. I'm going to open up the compatibility patch itself and say that it should load after, regardless of the suggestion that it go before. General rule of thumb, anytime you've got a compatibility patch between one mod and another, you need that patch to load after both of the mods it is trying to make compatible. Hit save, deploy, and I'm done. Let's go in game and check it out. Once in game, open up the MCM and just change the keys to be something comfortable for you. And then you can go and test the mod somewhere a little safer, I think. And I'm just going to do it there. Yep, no problem. Now, because I've got the OneHUD compatibility patch installed, I need my weapon out to see the icon. Let's change to a different grenade. And there you go. It's pretty much that simple. You can go into the MCM and change a few things like the icon position if you want. And to help you manipulate icon position or gauge position, you can show the icons in the MCM if you want. I'll leave you to discover that and figure it out for yourself. It's not really that hard. But that's it. You now have an alternative grenade hotkey mod. And of course there are plenty of other mods for you to try out that will change the gameplay. Mods such as Bleed that changes the way damage works to make combat faster and more deadly. Mods such as Just Hold Breath that let you hold your breath when you're taking a sniper shot, or even mods that just add more perks for you to choose. There are a lot of mods out there for you to test out, and I encourage you to do that. Go out, explore, and try things and see if they work for you. However, before I end this video, I do want to answer one question that may be coming up, and that is, can you use some of the gameplay mods I have shown you today on top of Project Nevada? And the answer is yes, you can actually. You could enable Project Nevada, and I'm going to do that right now, and at the same time use the grenade hotkey mod I showed you, or the just vanilla sprint mod. You could do that just by disabling certain features in the MCM. So now I've enabled Project Nevada alongside 3 of the just mods, and I'm going to go in game, and I get in game and I get the Project Nevada grenade hotkey mention. But now I'm going to go along to the mod configuration menu, go to PN Core features, and I'm going to disable bullet time, dynamic crosshair, and grenade hotkey, as well as sprint. So I've disabled those 4 features, and I'm going to allow the 3 just mods and the Quickthrow mod to handle those for me. And it's as simple as that. I can now have bullet time and sprint from those mods if I prefer them, and all of the other features, the equipment, the night vision, the explosive entry from Project Nevada. Oh, there may be one other question some of you are asking. If you have been reading the descriptions of the mods I've been showing you, you may have noticed there was a Just Mods Assorted mod that contains all of the mods from the Just series that I showed you in this video, plus many more. And the obvious question is, should you use that instead of the 3 mods I showed you? And I am going to talk about that, just not in this video. And no, I am not leaving you on a cliffhanger deliberately to be horrible, but because I'm actually going to cover at least 1 more of the mods from this series in the next video, so it's a little more appropriate to do it then. I hope you can join me for that video, and I look forward to seeing you there. But until then, remember as always, have fun.
Oh, ain't you glad you're single?
Jingle jangle,
And that song ain't so very far from wrong.